Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Memory Hunt, the czar of the playbook, bring you my final 2013 NFL mock draft. We're going to look at the first round, all 32 selections. So let's start off with the Kansas City Chiefs, who own the #1 overall pick.
My personal philosophy on the draft is that you want to find the best player available at your biggest need, and that should be your selection. So when I put together a mock draft, it's coming from the perspective as if I were the GM, and you're going to see a heavy emphasis on football players more so than athletes, because that's just my personal philosophy. And contrary to popular belief, there's a lot of good football players in this draft regardless of position. So when you look at the top 10, you see a lot of good football players. Chance Warmack going to Arizona, bolstering the interior offensive line. Sharif Floyd going to Tennessee. I think that's a better fit for where he is right now as a football player. Eric Fisher having some success at Central Michigan, arguably one of the top tackles in this draft. You could make an argument that he may be better than Luke Joeckel, and Luke Joeckel going to Kansas City can play left tackle or right tackle, however they want to use him. He's a great fit for that offensive front. But there's some guys I want to focus on more in depth. Let's look at Geno Smith going to Jacksonville at #2. A lot of people want to knock Geno Smith's production, but you have to look at it from this scope. When you throw 42 touchdowns and 6 interceptions as many times as they throw the football, that's a lot of chances to throw interceptions. And this is a guy that hasn't thrown over 7 in a season. So he protects the football. Yes, he may hold it a little bit longer and take a couple of sacks, but at least he's not turning the ball over. So you look at him transitioning to the NFL, he protects the football in the passing game. You know you're going to run a little bit more in the National Football League. So this guy actually is the most pro-ready quarterback in my opinion. And I wouldn't have any problem seeing him go as high as #2 to the Jacksonville Jaguars. The reason why I have Sheldon Richardson over Sharif Floyd is that when you look at a defensive tackle and you want to take a defensive tackle high, he has to be able to stop the run and also get pressure on the quarterback. And Richardson does that a lot better than Floyd. Floyd is more of a run stuffer that can get some pressure. Richardson is a guy that can play the run on the way to the quarterback. He's your ideal 3 technique. That's why I have him rated higher than Floyd. I have Star Lotulelei going to the Philadelphia Eagles because I feel as though he's going to be a better fit in a 3-4 defense as opposed to a 4-3. He played in the 3-4 at Utah, and I think he can be effective either on the nose or as a 5 technique. The Browns have options at #6. They can go on the offensive side of the football. They can go Jarvis Jones. They can also go Kenny Vaccaro out of Texas. But I think D. Miller makes the most sense because when you're transitioning to a 3-4 defense, you want your corners to be able to handle press coverage. This guy excels at that. Great hand placement. Also has solid footwork at the line of scrimmage. He may not catch the interceptions like a Joe Hayden, but this is a guy that definitely will be a great bookend to Hayden, giving the Browns a very solid cornerback duo. There's only a few guys in this draft that have clear-cut top 10 talent, and Cordero Patterson out of Tennessee is one of those guys. You're not supposed to be a guy at that position with that height, moving that fast and that agile. You put the football in his hands and great things happen. You want a guy that can put the ball in the end zone from many different ways, and he can do it as a runner, as a returner, and most definitely as a receiver. I'm a person that will always take a football player over an athlete, and Jarvis Jones is a football player. I can care less about the speed. I can care less about what happened after the season. This guy, when the lights come on, he's making plays and can do it all. He can rush the passer. He can drop back in coverage. I think he makes a lot of sense for the Jets at #9. Not much has changed from picks 11 through 20 in my mock draft. You look at my March draft, I still had some of these guys going to the same teams, but the new addition would be Kenny Vaccaro out of Texas. He's an outstanding free safety prospect, the best in this draft, but also has the versatility to match up one-on-one on wide receivers, and that gives the Panthers versatility and also talent in the secondary, something that they sorely needed last season. I think he would be an ideal fit for that defense. And David Amerson is a guy I had going to the Saints in March. The reason why I'm not putting an outside rusher here for this defense, you got to look at what's already on the roster. I think they're fine in their front 7. They sorely need help in the secondary. Amerson gives you versatility as well. He's a corner, but can also play free safety. One thing he has that's very important is ball skills. He will come away with those interceptions. You put a guy back there that has Darren Sharper-like ability, and it instantly upgrades your defense. And as far as Tavon Austin is concerned, he's been 5'9", 175 his whole life and hasn't been injured yet. So this is a guy that size does not matter. He puts the ball in the end zone. Do not knock football players because of their size. They don't come in one shape or form. They come in many different sizes, and this guy is an outstanding playmaker and would instantly upgrade that Rams offense. And as with picks 21 through 32, not a lot has changed since March. I'm pretty set in my opinions this year with the mock draft. Not a lot of movements, but there's one new addition in this final mock draft, and that's Jordan Poyer out of Oregon State. I think he's more of a complete player than a guy, let's say, like Desmond Trufant, who's everyone is mocking in the first round. Poyer gives you more versatility. He can come off the edge as a blitzer. He can hold his own in one-on-one coverage. Does a great job in press coverage. Also can help you out as a returner and has superior ball skills. So Jordan Poyer is much more of a complete football player. That's why I put him in the first round over a guy like Desmond Trufant. And I have Detone Jones going to San Francisco. Outstanding player that can play anywhere on the defensive line. I think this guy will be a stud from day one at the National Football League level, and I'm still sticking to my guns with Tyrann Mathieu in the first round. Not because I think he will go there, but because I think the Baltimore Ravens will be the most ideal fit and a team willing to take a chance on a guy that can play three positions: corner, free safety, strong safety, and also kickoff return and punt return. You got to get a guy on your team like Tyrann Mathieu that does great things with the ball in his hands. Now, there are some noticeable absences in my first round. Some guys that I think will go in the first, like Ezekiel Ansah, Barkevious Mingo, and Desmond Trufant. I just didn't have them in my first round in a mock draft because I'm not sold on them as first round type of talents. Ezekiel Ansah is way too raw to be considered just in the first round, let alone a top 5 pick as some are projecting. And Barkevious Mingo, outstanding athlete, we understand that. But at LSU, he didn't produce as much as you would like or you would think his athleticism suggests. That's why a guy like Sam Montgomery I have ranked higher than him. Montgomery produced each and every week. Mingo didn't do a lot of great things at LSU. Did a lot of good things, but not a lot of great things. And Desmond Trufant, I think, is a guy that's talented, but more of a second round pick type of guy, not your elite first round talent. You got to look at all 4 years and what he was able to do. Yes, he's gotten better every year, but the first 2 were terrible. The last 2 were solid. So I think he's a guy that's on the upswing, but second round is where he should be. I think that's where he probably is going to go, but may go in the first, but I would probably pick him in the second round. And also, no second quarterback was in my first round, although there will be some guys that may go in the first. I'm guessing maybe 3 to 4 quarterbacks will be taken in the first round. Maybe Matt Barkley, EJ Manuel, Mike Glennon, Ryan Nassib. All those guys have a chance. I'm still sticking with my quarterback rankings. I still believe Tyler Wilson is the second best quarterback in this draft, but he may even go in the second or third round. But no first round quarterback outside of Geno Smith in my opinion. So I think that's some noticeable absences in my mock draft.